Well, if it isn't, Meghan, Duchess of Publicity stunt strikes again, at least in the court of public opinion, according to the likes of Dan Wootton and various other commentators, because you must by now have seen this viral video of purportedly an American Airlines hostess who received purportedly, allegedly, a handwritten note from Meghan on the flight. We'll take a look at that in just a minute, but there is another video I'll take a look at first of all, because the publicity thing and the privacy thing is a really big issue, because it's really contradictory. So that's why you're here on Black Belt Secrets, to get my personal views, a little bit of gossip, bit of fun. So please do subscribe to the channel for that. And don't be confused, I'm wearing my Black Belt Barrister merch because it arrived yesterday. I'm really pleased about it. You can get this on my Black Belt Barrister channel. I think I can probably try and tag it here as well, but you can go to merch.blackbeltbarrister.com. Fantastic designs, really good quality. This is partnered with Under Armour, so it's a really good quality shirt. And we've got the logos on the side here as well. They're by my new designer, Martin Lewis. Fantastic designer. Go and check out the merch. It's fantastic. I've got a hoodie over there as well. I'll show you that later. But let's go, first of all, I will come to this American Airlines hostess video, but I will first go to this one here because there's a really serious concern here about publicity and privacy. I've recently had to remind others with lengthy conversations about the privacy of children's data published online, believe it or not. And so this is exactly that. Now, whilst they obviously don't need to publish their names for them to know who they are ostensibly using, I'll play the video here, they are ostensibly using children in these videos here with beekeeping and obviously doing this for some sort of publicity. It's obviously a publicity stunt, and it's obviously trying to get out in the public attention. And at the same time, the irony, the hypocrisy is that they want to deliver private life and go over there and be out of public eye and not receive attention and live their private lives. We've been talking about this for several years now, and yet here they are. But the concern for me is publishing videos like this of children, albeit, yes, you could say that they are sort of covered up to a degree. If we refresh the page there, you can see it again. You can't really see the face, you can't really see the details. So I suppose if you were going to share imagery, videos of a child, that's probably the way you do it. You probably do it in a sensitive way, but at the same time, they do tend to shout about their privacy, etc. Now, the more charitable side is that this is just a loving video sharing part of their lives and so on, but I think less charitable would be that this is just a publicity stunt. Some people have quoted, if I refresh the video again, some people have quoted that these are not genuine regular beekeepers because the suits are pristine white, unless they obviously keeping them bleached and so on. But by the by, that'd be that. My broader concern there would be about the protection of the children, etc., especially given the amount of time, the amount of money that Prince Harry, on behalf of him and his family, have been arguing about the publicity and the protection for his family. Why argue about it in court to the extent that it's costing however many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds in legal costs against the Home Office for protection, etc., all the while putting these posts out if they are so keen on keeping lives private. By the by, that is all very strange in itself, but that's not the strangest thing here. I'm going to play this video to you, and then we're going to come back after a short break and talk about the legalities of it, because there's been various comments on it. The body language guy, or the Royal Rogue as his alter ego, has come out to talk about it as well. But let me play this video for you. Then we'll have a short break, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the legalities of it and what the law says behind this. Let me play this for you first. I will reach across and mute myself. Let me try and skip back if I can.
You guys will not believe who I just had on my flight, who I had a pleasure of serving. The Queen, the Princess, the Duchess of Sussex, the Meghan Markle was on my flight, and she's so beautiful in person. She was so sweet. She wrote us a little handwritten note back. So we wrote her a note that said, "It's a pleasure of serving you. We love you real bad." And she wrote this note back that says, "Dear AA girlies, thank you for the love, hospitality, and handwritten note. You know me well. All love right back to you." And then I think it says, "Forever, Megan." You know, I can barely read this cursive, but look at this handwriting is giving rich. It's giving expensive. It's giving princess. She also said she loved my nails And the captain on my last flight said they were intense. So, sir, it doesn't matter what you think. The Queen says she likes them.
So many bits and pieces, so many things to discuss, point out, criticize, question in some ways. But also I will come back to what American Airlines actually say about their privacy policy, which is a screaming red flag if this is a genuine video, which I've no reason really to suggest that it isn't. But if it is a genuine video, what the American Airlines say about this in their policies. That's been highlighted, and I will come back to what they say in their privacy policy with my commentary on it in just a moment. Don't go away. Just as a brief aside, most of you know I'm the kind of guy that likes to have my life in order, and I take health and fitness relatively seriously. I've trained for decades, and I like to keep myself in shape. But about 2 years or so ago, I decided to give up alcohol completely, and I replaced my alcohol with a new kind of drink, which is a partner to my channel called Holy. They do a huge range of flavors. They do iced teas, they do hydration drinks, and they do energy drinks and milkshakes. But they don't have all the usual kind of, let's call it rubbish, that you might find in other so-called energy drinks. But I will drink at least 1 or 2 of these a day because they are really tasty and it makes me drink more water, so I stay hydrated, and obviously that is really healthy. There's no rubbish or junk in these drinks. You can find the full ingredients on their website. And for me, it makes drinking water a whole lot more interesting. And it makes the evening more interesting if you're giving up alcohol, because a lot of people are giving up alcohol these days. And after 2 years, it's the best thing that I ever did. And they have a load of different flavors. My favorite by far is the strawberry and kiwi. But they also, if you want my favorites, there are lots to choose from. There's the new-ish watermelon flavor. There is, if you're feeling sort of tangy and you want something kind of sweet flavored, I can liken this to sort of cola bottle flavors, this one here. There's a new flavor come out, which is really nice, called guave. And if you like milkshakes, they're in luck. There's a range of milkshakes, but my favorite by far is the hazelnut milkshake. This is really nice. You add milk to it and you shake it up and it gives you a delicious hazelnut drink. So I can genuinely say that I would not partner with a company that I didn't think produced great products, and I'm happy to partner with them, and I'm happy to keep promoting their products. And of course, as a partner to my channel, you get a great discount. If you want a £5 discount, use the code SECRETS5 at the checkout and the link in the description below. If you prefer a percentage discount, you can just use the code SECRETS, and that will give you a 10% discount your entire order, which might be good for an ongoing order. And if you're a new customer, I'd suggest you go with the Starter Set Deluxe, because that comes with a huge range of the flavors and the different drinks, and it comes along with a free shaker as well. Fantastic box set for yourself or as a gift. Check them out, you will absolutely love them, and thanks to Holy for sponsoring this video. So back to this video and what we really think about this. Now I'm going to pinch a little bit from Dan Wooden here. It's around about 10 or 11 minutes into his video, which I'll link below. I'm not going to play it for you, you can go watch it for yourself, but he says that he's had airline staff that have personally served Meghan Markle. They've approached him directly, and they've said that she was not as nice as it seems to be from this video that you've just seen go viral. Say the least. You can go and watch his video, see what they really thought about that. But so there's a first little bit, but I'm not really, even though this is my personal opinion / gossip channel here, I'm not going to dive too much into that. I'll leave that to Dan Wooden and the like. But what I will do is I'm going to jump over to the Royal Rogue here, because credit where it's due here, he's posting this and saying that this appears to be a publicity stunt, and says that this flight attendant shares the note from Meghan traveling in commercial, disclosing private messenger information on TikTok, no less. But American Airlines' directive on passenger identities is ironclad, as is with any airline and with any company really that should, hold its salt in legal proceedings, should hold personal data absolutely paramount. I've had to remind others of that this morning. They know who they are. So he says, unless this was carefully planned and confirmed as a PR stunt, the flight attendant in question is 100% knows she's getting fired, because this would mean that for any other VIP with American Airlines, their information and flight experience would end up on TikTok. And I absolutely agree. And he posts a snippet of the handwriting, which does look like Meghan's handwriting from what I've seen in what I endured in her program recently on Netflix. But also, the Royal Rogue here quotes this. I think this is the Gemini summary of the legal perspective here, which is correct. But I also dived a little bit deeper and actually went to look at and read the American Airlines privacy policy. There's this bit here, which I'm going to highlight because I'll come back to it in a second, but you can see the length that they've put into this. I haven't even opened all of the tabs here, but as you can imagine, as you would expect with any privacy policy of any company worth its salt across the globe, they take privacy seriously. And it is a massive thing, the breach of privacy and data being leaked, being hacked, disclosed, released, shared, sold, whatever. It's wrong. And companies know it's wrong. Many companies have been doing it for years and they know that it's wrong. Now, what I'm saying in this video is not to be taken, you understand, as any confirmation that American Airlines has sanctioned the unauthorized release of public information. If that video is genuine, then it's the person who's done it who's responsible for it. And there may be a vicarious liability for that, but that's for them to deal with her and so on. One could argue in that scenario that she is off on a frolic of her own, i.e. it's not authorized by American Airlines, they haven't endorsed it, they haven't agreed to it, she's doing it outside the rules or whatever else. And then Royal Rogue is right, then that she should be fired for that. Absolute breach of data protection, unless it was real and sanctioned. Because when we look at this privacy policy here, this, as you can imagine with any privacy policy, these all look the same. Most people don't read the small print, but it's my job as a lawyer to read the small print. Obviously, if you're not familiar with me from the Black Belt Barrister channel, I am a lawyer, I'm a barrister, and one of my specialisms is in data protection and all of those kind of things. So as you can expect from any privacy policy, this quite clearly states it applies regardless of the way that you interact with our services, the type or the device or the means of access, and the services relates to broadly three things: booking and actually traveling on any of their services, services related to memberships or programs that you enroll on for benefits, such as all these different things and programs and services that benefit you when you're traveling, or any other kind of service that enables you to interact with any of the services, which, for example, include the websites, include mobile phones, telephones, text messaging systems, etc., etc. So those are the broad ways that they do use your data because they have to. They've got to book you on a flight. And of course, you'll find further down there are other sections such as law enforcement. Obviously, if the police come knocking or the FBI come knocking and say, can you confirm that this person was on your flight? Obviously, if it's an official investigation, they have to comply. So that's that. But otherwise, they would not be sharing data with anybody else. Sensitive personal information, in some instances, certain information is going to be really specific. And therefore, i.e., if you've got meal requirements, or if you need wheelchair access, or if you're a person of importance or significance, for example, this would be sensitive personal information. So this is not just any member of the public with respect to the rest of the member of the public. This is Meghan Markle. So she has a high profile. There's a lot about her safety in the public domain, and therefore them having her on a flight, which is a specific time, specific place, going to and from a given place, very specific times, people would know where she was, where she landed, etc. That is information that could be sensitive. But then we come on to here with whom your information will be shared. And broadly, this again is those services or administrative functions that support the provision of their services, including marketing, but the third parties will include things such as the messaging, focus groups, interviews, etc., but they are offered by American Airlines. Other group companies or other partners that are used to fulfill the booking services, etc., and then other third parties such as the hotel companies, other branded card partners, and anyone with whom you would interact as a genuine result of being involved with the company of whom your services you're booking. So bearing in mind how serious and clear that is, this does not fit into any of those things. Sharing the fact that she was on this flight, sharing a personal written note, which it was a personal note, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But given that this was the fact that she was on this flight to and from a specific place, would be private information. So either this poor lady is now facing serious trouble, or it was a publicity stunt, and the whole thing was planned, in which case, why shout and scream about privacy in the first place if you're going to arrange a publicity stunt such as this? And that is the court of public opinion conclusion on all this. They believe that this is all a publicity stunt. But that's not the end of it. It really is. We talk about the note here. People in the comment sections have noted that this is no different really to the sharing of notes between family members, for example, her father. Bearing in mind how this case was reported in the end, she received a princely sum of £1 compensation from the Mail on Sunday for the misuse of private information after it printed parts of a letter to her father But she also received a substantial undisclosed sum for copyright infringement, and the judges said Associated Newspapers should pay £300,000 of her legal costs. So bearing all that in mind, we then come to this being a personal note, letter of sorts, given on this flight, allegedly, and what's not disclosed here, that this was with her permission, with her blessing, that she was free to share it or whatever. Maybe she was, but that would then reinforce that it's a publicity stunt. If she was told that she could publish it, then that would make it a publicity stunt. If she was not told that she could publish this letter, then it's done without her knowledge. And then, as others have noted in a comment section, this is very much like sharing a note, albeit the substance of the letter, etc., may be very different, but it would otherwise be very similar to sharing a note publicly that was not meant to be public. And then finally, and I won't dive too much into the gossip of all this, but there has been a lot of discussion over the uniform, the nails and things like that. Now, I'm not one to tell someone what they can and can't wear, much less their nails, but there have been various comments such as uniform code, nails must be clean, well groomed, free of dirt, no longer than the tip of the finger, etc. And then obviously you can see she's made complaints about this in the video, said the previous captain said that they were too long. He would have been right to say that because it ostensibly goes against uniform policy. And on the face of it, that appears to go against the rules, but that's not my place to say. So I find this all a little bit strange in that they did apparently just want to go and live a quiet life and not be in the public eye, not be in the public domain. And these, if it is a publicity stunt, all these publicity stunts, putting these things out in the public for the public to discuss. So here we are in the public discussing what appears to be a publicity stunt. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we are here discussing it because it's in the public eye. And so either there's a lawsuit going against this lady for sharing it because it's now a matter of news and public interest and so on, or it was a publicity stunt. And I don't suppose we're going to know which. But either way, I hope you do like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of this. And also, as a final thing, I have vowed to do more videos on martial arts because that's where this channel started, as Black Belt Secrets. I'm in two minds whether to do that on another channel or revamp this channel as my martial arts channel and move you all to a new channel for gossip, news and pop media and things like that. Because I do enjoy commenting on it, because it's the sort of stuff that I wouldn't have dreamt of commenting on my main channel, Black Belt Barrister. You can get this merch over on there, by the way. I really love these t-shirts with Under Armour. I love sort of t-shirts like this. If you haven't noticed, I love black t-shirts and hoodies and things like that, because being professional, wearing shirts and ties and everything else is a part of an everyday professional life. I like the more casual approach. So go and check out the merch. But do let me know about the channel. Do I do that on here, or do I move that to a new channel? Do I move you to a new channel to talk about this kind of stuff? Let me know. I'm open to suggestions, but I do want to make a plan and stick to it, because the long-term plan is always what works. And I'm all about long-term plans. So do let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.